this is momentous, and I've been waiting a long time to watch any of these indictments turn into anything.
I want to be part of history, see it in the making, right before my eyes. I'm going to come back for whenever the closing arguments are.
Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial or New York's latest tourist attraction? The media spectacle continues as hordes of onlookers and more than a dozen Republican politicians flood that Manhattan courthouse, all to watch history being written. I'm Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. Donald Trump's former... Donald Trump's former fixer-turned-foe, Michael Cohen, was back on the stand today, and in his third day of testimony, this one was by far the most heated we've seen. Trump's lawyers repeatedly painting Cohen as a liar motivated by ambition and revenge. For his part, Cohen insisted over and over again that it was Trump who directed him to pay $130,000 to the former adult film star Stormy Daniels, all to bury the story of their alleged affair. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Rahima Ellis to help us make sense of all this. Rahima, thanks for joining us. What were the big takeaways from today? We know that Cohen has lied under oath in the past. How did he explain that to the defense?
Well, he said that he was doing it to protect his family, to protect Donald Trump, the man that he had almost sworn an allegiance to for nearly 9.5 years. And there was one moment that really was explosive. And I want to read a couple of things in terms of the testimony to get us up to that moment, Gadi. This was where Blanche, the defense attorney, is questioning Michael Cohen, and he's asking him about a particular event that happened in October of 2016, leading up to the 2016 election. And he says, you said you had a recollection of a phone call on October 24th at 8 o'clock, and you called Schiller being Keith Schiller, who was Donald Trump's bodyguard, and he gave the phone to the president, to President Trump, and you gave Trump an update, and he said, okay, go, meaning go ahead and pay the money to Stormy Daniels to keep her silent. At that point, Blanche comes out and he says, that was a lie. You did not talk to President Trump on that night. You talked to Keith Schiller about what we were going through, and it was another bit of information. And at that point, Cohen responds saying, I'm not certain that is accurate. Blanche comes back again and says, you were certain it was accurate on Tuesday when you were under oath and testifying. And Cohen says, based upon the records that I reviewed and in light of everything going on, I believe I spoke to Mr. Trump that night about the Stormy Daniels matter. And once again, an explosive moment from Blanche saying, we are not asking for what your belief is. This jury does not want to hear what you think happened. Don't want to hear what you think happened. And at this point, everyone in that courtroom is paying attention. It is an explosive moment, and it was an attempt by the defense to again paint Michael Cohen as a liar, because all this time leading up to this, he has been getting him to admit that he lied to Congress. He lied to the prosecution. He lied to the FBI. And so now, in essence, Blanche is putting up the notion, why should the jury believe you're not lying about this?
Fascinating to hear the energy in the courtroom there. I want to ask you about this other moment. The defense highlighted a few of Cohen's social media posts, things he said in the past, like on a podcast way back in 2020. In fact, I think we've got that queued up if we can play that.
I truly hope that this man ends up in prison. It won't bring back the year that I lost or the damage done to my family, but revenge is a dish best served cold. And you better believe I want this man to go down and rot inside for what he did to me and my family.
Revenge is a dish served cold. I mean, is this very damning or just very straightforward? What does this do to the case, and what was the reaction when something like that was played?
Again, that's a moment that caught everyone's attention. And the question becomes one of, what is the jury going to believe? Michael Cohen, who was in the courtroom testifying, was very measured, very calm. But that clip that you just played, many people are going to say, that is the real Cohen. That's the guy who's a bully. That's a guy who was the fixer for Donald Trump. And now what we have to do at this point is we will find out how the jury settled on all of that.
And, Rahima, I don't know what band is playing behind you, but our compliments to the conductor back there. Thank you for breaking all this down for us.
Yeah, they got a couple of tubas over there as well. It's pretty loud, but it's nice.
Thank you. And now let's bring in our legal analyst, Catherine Christian. Catherine, we saw Trump attack one of the prosecutors on the case this morning. It seems like this game of chicken that he is playing on the steps of the courthouse every single day. Let's play that.
This all comes out of the White House and the Department of Justice. This is all them. In fact, a lead person from the DOJ is running the trial. So Biden's office is running this trial. This trial is a scam, and it's a sham, and it shouldn't happen.
I gotta say, it looks like he has these moments where he's daring the judge to possibly throwing him in jail every single day almost that he's at court. What is this doing to the credibility of the justice system and of the proceedings that we're seeing here?
Well, this is the first time he's actually, since he's been fined, come close to actually a violation. He can trash the judge, he can trash DA Bragg on a daily basis and trash the case. He's not allowed to attack the court staff or the DA staff. And so he didn't mention him, he clearly was talking about Assistant Attorney Matthew Calalanjo. I might be pronouncing it wrong. He didn't mention his name. Now, his lawyers will say he didn't attack him. He just said he's part of the DOJ office that's running the trial. So I think it's very close to violating the gag order. No, the judge is not going to put him in jail because of what he said today, because he didn't name him, he didn't attack him, he came very close. I would think his lawyers were wincing behind him because it seems like it just slipped out of his mouth because he can't help himself.
And at the same time, it does seem somewhat calculated, knowing all the different lines to cross and what not to cross. And you know, it's something that we see time and time again.
And he's got politicians, elected officials who outside the courthouse who are violating the gag order for him. Of course, you can't prove that he's directing them to make the statements because he's not allowed to direct people to make statements, but they're effectively doing that.
Meanwhile, Cohen is the final witness for the prosecution,
That's
right?
What they've said,
so
yes.
What are we going to see next? Are we going to see a lot of witnesses called from the defense? Could this wrap up pretty quickly?
Well, the defense has not been very forthcoming. The judge asked today, is your client going to testify? This is outside of the jury, and they said they haven't made that determination. They've also said they may or may not call an expert. You actually may see the prosecution rest their case, and then the defense rest their case, meaning no case. They're not putting on any witnesses, and then summations next week.
Catherine, thank you so much for joining us. And over in Washington, remember that super controversial interview between a special federal prosecutor who was investigating President Biden that supercharged the whole debate on whether Biden was too old to remember stuff? Well, today, a big plot turn. A powerful House committee voted to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for refusing to hand over the audio recordings of President Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hurr. And those were the recordings that were made during the classified documents investigation into President Biden from 2023. Remember, that's the one where Hurr declined to pursue, even while also calling President an elderly man with a poor memory. President Biden himself has asserted executive privilege this morning, blocking the release of those audio recordings, complicating matters even further for Republicans who have been trying to investigate the president for a while now. And we should point out that NBC, along with several other news organizations, is suing for the release of these audio recordings under the Freedom of Information Act. Let's bring in NBC's Ali Vitale to help break this down. Ali, so what's next with these contempt proceedings? How has AG Garland responded so far?
Well, the Attorney General is now backed by the Biden administration, who's saying they don't want to release this audio recording, Gadi, because of executive privilege. Here's what Garland is saying about the larger landscape in which this request is happening.
There have been a series of unprecedented and, frankly, unfounded attacks on the Justice Department. This request, this effort to use contempt as a method of obtaining our sensitive law enforcement files is just the most recent.
So look, Gadi, Garland is right when he says that this is an attempt to get the audio recording that both of these committees so badly want. By filing a contempt of Congress resolution, both of these committees will be able to pass it along party lines, and then it's up to the Speaker of the House whether or not it actually goes to the full House floor. If it does, we've actually seen this before during the January 6th committee hearings when they referred people for contempt of Congress resolutions. The full House will vote, and if that person is held in contempt, then it's referred to the Justice Department and they figure out what to do with it. We saw that, for example, with people like Steve Bannon. Unclear that we're going to see it come to that now, though, because the Speaker, A, might not bring it to the floor, and B, that might be because he doesn't have the votes here. It could be a really politically tough vote for some of his members. We're not sure that's going to happen, but tonight and this afternoon in both of these committees were the first step.
Ali, I'm not sure if you can refresh my memory here, but how much of the transcripts do we already have, and wouldn't the recordings just be what the transcripts show, or why the executive privilege?
There are some who argue that, including our news organization, that's part of a larger suit to get this in the name of transparency. We already have the transcript here. What the Biden administration is arguing is that the recordings themselves are executive privilege. What we and other news organizations are arguing is that they should be in the public because we already know what was said. For Republicans, though, they want these recordings in the name of transparency, yes, but they also think that it might help them prove the point around Biden's age being an issue. They want to hear, not just read, what he said to this special prosecutor here, and that's why we're seeing them push for this. So a lot of people pushing for the same result, but for different reasons.
I guess there's only one way to find out, and we'll see. Ali, thank you. Meanwhile, on TikTok, one of the latest debates du jour is how young is too young for kids to start wearing makeup. We've seen kids as young as 9 having skincare routines, and we're talking about using products that you'd usually see targeted for adults. In California, one lawmaker is trying to change that by introducing a bill to ban the sale of certain anti-aging products to kids under 13, stuff like retinol, which is used to target wrinkles. But his bill got killed today after it got a lot of pushback, specifically from the makeup lobby, saying that it would be impossible to enforce. Let's bring in NBC's Dana Griffin. Dana, how did this bill fail so quickly, and who was opposing it?
Yeah, so it failed during the Appropriations Committee, an Appropriations Committee hearing today. And although this bill is dead, Gadi, there is still a concern over this new generation of skincare anti-aging product enthusiasts. And dermatologists say, hey, a lot of these products like the retinol, like the glycolic acid, they're too harsh for their skin. These products are designed for people in their their early to mid 20s, because that's when collagen production starts to decrease every year. So dermatologists say if your preteen is obsessed with anti-aging products, there is one product that they recommend widely for just about anyone 6 months of age. At 6 months and older, and that is sunscreen, because it helps to protect against sunburn, it helps to protect against potential skin cancer, and it has those anti-aging properties there. So obviously a talker, and you've got people on both sides who say we want the products, but then you have lawmakers who say we want to protect the skin of these young kids. Got it.
And so much of this is in response to those, like the TikTok videos where you see influencers that get younger and younger and younger that are doing these elaborate makeup routines. The lawmaker who introduced this, what's he saying?
Yeah. So Assemblymember Alex Lee, he represents a city just outside of San Jose in the Bay Area. He wrote a statement that says, although I'm disappointed in today's result, I'm committed to protecting children from the unnecessary harms of anti-aging products. He goes on to say that 20 California state legislators are calling on the industry to share what concrete actions they plan to take to address the issue of children buying anti-aging products. The multi-billion-dollar beauty industry has the responsibility to take meaningful action on this problem. We also heard from the PCPC, which represents hundreds of beauty care and self-care products, including the parent company of Sephora and Ulta Beauty, and they say that they do not recommend these products for these teens, but they say that this bill would have created a compliance issue, because it would have put the onus on these stores and the workers to either check IDs or to put up signage to make sure that these products were not being targeted towards younger kids and preteens. But you still got kids who have access to their parents' credit cards and their Amazon accounts. So it's so hard to try to regulate this. So it'll be interesting to see, Gadi, if they try to come up with some other bill to address this issue.
Yeah, such a weird debate about capitalism and regulation, and who would have thought it would all center around underage beauty products. It's just a day and age we live in. Dana, thank you.
It's crazy. I mean, these routine, multi-step routines, they're doing more than I've ever done to my face. And I started really a skincare routine just years ago. So it's incredible to see what they're doing now.
Oh, well, whatever you're doing, you got to show me when I get back to L.A. because it's working. Thank you, Dana.
You got it. Thank you.
And don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, we are keeping our eye on severe weather tonight, especially in some areas of Texas where they are seeing terrible flooding right now. Bill Cairns is going to be here in a minute with just that forecast. Plus, insane surveillance video that shows a group of people opening fire in a Miami neighborhood with high-powered weapons. NBC's Marissa Parra has more on what led to that. And later this hour, there is now a way for AI to pay humans for doing jobs. It sounds crazy, and we're going to tell you how it all works tonight in the future of everything, so stay tuned.
AI is going to take all of our jobs and render us useless.
Hey, welcome back. We're keeping an eye on severe storm warnings, but first, here are some of the headlines we're watching tonight. There's some crazy surveillance footage that shows the moment an Amazon security guard allegedly tried to kill his supervisor. You see it right there. He aims a gun right at the back of his head, but that gun jams. He then fires again. The supervisor is able to dodge the second attempt by just inches. That security guard ends up running away. Police eventually catch up with him, and he was killed in a shootout. And earlier today, Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued a pardon for Daniel Perry, the Army sergeant convicted of murdering Black Lives Matter protester Garrett Foster back in 2020. Perry was found guilty last year and sentenced to 25 years in prison, but Abbott asked the Board of Pardons to consider his case, and they unanimously agreed. The Travis County DA condemned the pardon, calling it a mockery of the legal system. And 3 governors are asking Turks and Caicos to release 3 Americans being held on ammunition possession charges. All of them reportedly claim they accidentally left the ammo in their luggage when traveling. 5 Americans in total have been arrested since February, that latest being a Florida woman who was detained on Monday for having ammo in her bag. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average just topped 40,000 for the first time ever. It comes as investors say that artificial intelligence may boost corporate profits and the Federal Reserve possibly cutting rates as inflation cools down. And the Biden administration took another huge step towards rescheduling marijuana today. The Justice Department will publish an official notice that opens a 2-month period for the public to comment on the proposed change. If the rule goes into effect, marijuana will join a category including prescription drugs like ketamine and testosterone. And right now, severe storms are soaking communities across central Texas through Louisiana and Mississippi, putting millions of people at risk of these life-threatening flash floods and potential tornadoes. Check out the flooding here spotted in Texas a little bit earlier. The water was so high you can't even make out the street in front of that apartment building. There's also the risk of damaging hail and winds. We've seen golf ball-sized hail spotted falling earlier near Snyder, Texas. And this is coming as Texas is already reeling from catastrophic flooding just a little over a week ago that left entire neighborhoods underwater. NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns joins us now. Bill, Texas seems pretty vulnerable to flooding right now. And just looking at the map behind you, I mean, it just seems like lightning strikes abound.
Yeah, you don't like to see all the bright flashes of lightning. You also don't like to see these bright reds. And this is all where the heavy rain is. We've had a scary scenario in the last hour going through the Houston area. At one point, Houston, downtown, 1.9 million people under a tornado warning at the heart of rush hour. So people on the roads, kids come from school, everyone all over the place, and 80 to maybe 100-mile-per-hour winds just rolled through. We know we already have over 300,000 people without power in the Houston area, and that number is growing. So here's how we look at that. And as Gadi was mentioning, all these white dashes here, those are all lightning strikes with this too. So it was like constant, just barrage of lightning with those, really intense winds. And so now we're dealing with this heading towards the Galveston Bay area. If this lingers too, then we get the problem with the rainfall with this. because up to this point it has been moving through, but the Houston area is going to have some cleanup from this, and we're still assessing just how bad the situation has been. As we go a little further out, this whole mass of thunderstorms, it's all the way through Louisiana now, even into Mississippi. That's where we have 21 million people under flash flood watches, and you notice everywhere in the maroon here, these are all areas that we have flash flood warnings, so it kind of highlighted them on here. And when you start to see this dark red colors in here, that's where we're over 3 inches of rain in just the last 3 hours. So we showed you those pictures there. So College Station is located just to the south here of Bryan, Texas, and that's under a flash flood warning. And radar estimates right now are over 3 inches of rain in just the last 3 hours. It's rained so much in the last couple of weeks that when you get an equation like this with that much rain on top of saturated soil, that's why we're seeing all the pictures that we are with such bad issues there with the flooding. And as we go throughout the next 24 hours, it continues.
So we're talking weeks and weeks of rain, and then we now see this one, an inch an hour, 3 inches in 3 hours?
Yeah, at least, yeah. In some areas, when we get these thunderstorms, like in Houston, the rainfall rate may have been as much as 2 inches in 1 hour. So where do we go from here? So as we fast forward into tomorrow, that whole complex of storms tonight rolls through Mississippi, eventually into Alabama and Georgia, and then new thunderstorms are going to form. So we have what we call a moderate risk of flash flooding tomorrow from Hattiesburg to Mobile to Montgomery. Kind of that triangle in here is the area I'm most concerned with. Notice that the Texas, you dry out after tonight, after this line, so we're good. So additional rainfall, we're looking at 2 to 3 inches in addition to what's already fallen from Lake Charles to just north of New Orleans. So southern Mississippi and Louisiana, those will be the areas to watch. But our thoughts right now are everyone in the Houston area. I mean, phone lines are down, power is out. The sun will be setting here in an hour or two. It's going to be a long night.
What a mess in the South. Bill, thank you. And coming up, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs is getting a ton of backlash over his commencement speech at a Catholic university. We've got those details. But first, you got to see this. That was a major MLS debut that you might have missed last night. A raccoon ran onto the field during the Philadelphia Union and New York City game. And that raccoon has been dubbed Racchino. And he was on the field for 3 minutes, bobbing and weaving. Stadium officials armed with trash cans tried to catch him. They finally got him. And Racchino was eventually picked up by local pest control before being released into the wild. But Topps is going to release an MLS trading card for the four-legged creature who is now a legend. That's a rookie card you want. We'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back. And here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following right now. We start in Colorado, where a major highway was shut down after a fiery crash earlier today. One person has died and another has been seriously hurt after a car hit a huge tanker there. Both caught fire, and it's unclear what caused that crash, but traffic was jammed up for miles on both sides of I-70. And it is the end of an era in Las Vegas. The iconic Mirage Hotel and Casino has announced it is closing its doors for this summer, with the famous man-made volcano making way for a nearly 700-foot guitar-shaped hotel. The Mirage will be redeveloped into a Hard Rock hotel and casino that's expected to open by 2027. And what in the world are these deer doing sliding through a baggage claim at the airport in Maui last month? Well, the answer is that the deer population in Maui seems to be out of control, and it's something that both local and federal officials have been trying to tackle for years now. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has placed some traps around the airport, they say, and they're moving them around in hopes of finding out where those deer are getting onto the property. And a scary night in Miami Gardens. People there woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of high-powered rifles, bullets piercing cars, homes, windows. Some people estimating at least 50 rounds were shot at rapid-fire succession. NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra has more.
Gadi, I want to show you something. We are just outside of someone's home. This is very much a neighborhood. This is someone's car parked outside of their home. And if you look closely, you can see 2 bullet holes. And Joe, those are just the 2 that you can see when you look up close. I actually counted several others on the other side of the truck there. And so this really just illustrates how close this was to other people as they were either sleeping or preparing to go to bed. Of gunfire terrorizing neighbors in South Florida. Just after midnight, for 15 seconds straight, the gunfire deafening and unrelenting. Sparks seen lighting up the street as a silver car speeds past, which police say several suspects were targeting with high-powered weapons.
The terrifying moments caught on home surveillance cameras in Miami Gardens, a city just north of Miami. Nearby houses, cars bearing bullet holes caught in the crossfire.
There was at least, 50 rounds.
68-year-old Luis Rivera heard it all from his couch.
I ran to the bed, to the bedroom. I told my wife and, my girl, my little one, stay down.
He says his daughter, 6 years old, had just gotten home from cancer treatment.
She was scared. She was crying. She didn't know what was happening.
Seconds after the gunfire quieted, Rivera says this silver car crashed into his fence. 3 people seen stumbling out in different directions. Police still searching for answers on the shooting that shockingly, they say, left no injuries.
Now, Gadi, just to be clear, we are in the neighborhood in the city of Miami Gardens, not to be confused with the city of Miami. This is just north. And Miami Gardens, according to city data, has a crime rate 1.5 times higher than the national average. Police say they're still investigating what happened last night. So far, no leads.
Thank you. And more on that growing controversy over a graduation speech by Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, who attacked things like abortion and the LGBTQ community while celebrating a woman's role as, quote, homemaker, all during a commencement speech at a Catholic university. Well, now the NFL is weighing in, and NBC's Liz Kreutz has the details.
Tonight, the NFL on defense after growing backlash over that controversial graduation speech given by one of their star players, Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you.
In the speech at Benedictine College, the 28-year-old Super Bowl champ criticizing LGBTQ plus rights and abortion, IVF, and surrogacy, while encouraging the young women graduates to focus on being a homemaker.
Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
Despite a standing ovation from the crowd, many slamming the speech as homophobic and sexist.
Getting married and having kids is not my ideal situation right now. It definitely made graduation feel a little less special, knowing I had to sit through that and get told I'm nothing but a homemaker.
The NFL, which is coming off a year of record female viewership amid hype over Taylor Swift's relationship with Butker's teammate, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, now distancing themselves from Butker. The league saying in a statement, Butker gave a speech in his personal capacity. His views are not those of the NFL.
And Gadi, more than 140,000 people have now signed a petition calling on the NFL to remove Butker from the Chiefs. At the same time, a duelingchange.org petition has started with people now supporting him. So far, neither Benedictine College, the Chiefs, or Butker himself have commented. Gadi.
Liz, thank you. And remember the Satanic Temple, the religious group that says they don't actually worship Satan and are known for trolling religion? Well, we've talked about them on this show before when they were trying to implement their own after-school programs in Florida. And now they are using new laws in several states to try to get Satanic Temple ministers inside of classrooms. NBC News correspondent Maura Barrett is here with more.
Tonight, the Satanic Temple wants to put its own ministers in public schools in both Florida and Oklahoma. It's a move in opposition to conservative lawmakers in those states voting to allow religious chaplains to serve in schools, essentially as counselors.
Chaplains have a very specific role.
13 other states have proposed similar bills this year. The demonic-sounding group using this debate to push back on certain Christian ideals and its increasing overlap on public life.
If they pass these bills, they're going to have to contend with ministers of Satan acting as chaplains within their school districts.
Lucian Greaves, who uses a pseudonym to protect against threats, is a co-founder of the Satanic Temple.
They are going to lose in court. The Constitution is unambiguous about this. You just cannot take a religious identity and cut it out from a public accommodation. They'll have to pay the attorney's fees, and frankly, they shouldn't be putting that kind of budget into this kind of culture war grandstanding BS.
Though in its name, the temple doesn't worship Satan. Instead, describes itself as non-theistic and has become known for inserting itself into various culture wars as an opposition to hardcore Christian ideals.
Whether you agree with them or not, they certainly are very thoughtful about their activism. What they're concerned about is how Christianity is privileged within an American society and has rights that other minority religious groups don't have. And so they see themselves as defenders of religious liberty and the rights of religious minorities.
According to its website, the temple sees Satan as a symbol of eternal rebel in opposition to arbitrary authority and believes in reason, empathy, and the pursuit of knowledge. Their efforts come off as mocking and satirical, but are with serious meaning. One issue is gaining a lot of traction on: abortion.
Bodily autonomy.
After the overturn of Roe v. Wade, it named a telehealth abortion clinic after Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito's mom, and since sued several states to argue that abortion restrictions violate religious freedom for their members. And then, when Arkansas installed a statue of the Ten Commandments outside its state capitol, the temple unveiled its own statue of the goat-headed figure, Baphomet. The number of congregations of the Satanic Temple more than doubling since 2021 amid the rise of Christian nationalism.
How does this push towards more conservative values play into that from your perspective?
Those who would be drawn to the Satanic Temple are particularly concerned about Christian overreach, and that there is this fear that somehow America, or at least parts of America, are becoming an evangelical Christian theocracy as opposed to a secular democracy.
The temple sees strength in that awareness, in their mission, as they put it, to fight fire with fire.
We collaborated on this story with our colleague at Digital, Tyler Kincaid, and what we found is that the Satanic Temple is a very unique and unusual but effective form of activism. There's precedent, there are arguments where the federal courts have sided with the temple, and so what they're doing here specifically is going up against conservative or Christian groups that are working to break through or upend protections that already exist or are in place, and the temple is basically working to highlight those inequalities even more. Back to you.
Fight fire with fire, huh? Mara, thank you. Still to come, a bun scrambling competition in Hong Kong. We're going to explain what that's all about and take a look at other stories trending around the world. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. Officials in Slovakia are saying that it was a lone wolf wannabe assassin that was behind the attack that critically hurt the prime minister there. That assassination attempt is fueling fears of political violence across Europe, and the prime minister is now in serious but stable condition after he was shot several times by a suspect that apparently was involved in some anti-government protests. That suspect is now charged with attempted murder. And Vladimir Putin visited China today, making it very clear that Russia's partnership with China is getting closer. At a summit in Beijing, both Putin and President Xi said they're looking for an end to the war in Ukraine, but neither offered new proposals as Russia continues their offensive in Ukraine's eastern region. And over in Spain, police have made a very big drug bust. They seized 1.8 tons of meth, and it was all broken up from the Sinaloa cartel network in Mexico. 5 people were arrested during the raid on 6 different properties, and Spain says it was the largest bust of meth ever made in that country. And in Hong Kong, tens of thousands came together for the so-called Signature Bun Festival. It is an annual tradition on a tiny island there, and it includes a bun scrambling competition where people try to climb that huge bamboo tower, grabbing plastic buns all the way up. And today, the U.S. anchored a pier along the Gaza coastline trying to get more aid into the Strip. The floating dock towed south from Israel is now in place and ready for groups to move that aid ashore and into Gaza. U.S. officials say that could happen in the coming days, but even with that pier in place, there are new questions about the best way to get aid into Gaza. And NBC chief international correspondent Richard Engel has more.
The U.S. military has tonight anchored its pier off the Gaza Strip and will, in the coming days, begin to use landing craft to shuttle humanitarian aid to the coast. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin warning this could put U.S. troops at risk. It's also slow, but needed, because trucks are increasingly blocked and attacked by Israeli settlers and right-wing extremists. In several incidents this week, Israeli hardliners have stopped supplies and aid they suspected were heading to Gaza, and they're proud of what they're doing. The activists say as long as Hamas holds hostages in Gaza and keeps them in deprivation, Gazans should be deprived as well. Several of the trucks were sent by Jordan, and senior Jordanian officials tell NBC News that Israel has failed to address the problem. We traveled to the West Bank, through areas where Palestinians say hundreds of armed settlers carried out arson attacks. In one case, CCTV footage showed settlers setting fire to a garage, while in the distance, Israeli soldiers appear not to intervene. Tariq Hamid, a Palestinian-American, is a community leader here.
Is that common where the settlers do things like this, attack people, set things on fire, and the soldiers just sit back?
They just sit back and watch. They don't do anything. They're supposed to be protecting people.
The Israeli military says it does not impede the flow of aid into Gaza, and that the alleged arson attacks by settlers in the West Bank are under investigation.
Richard Engel, thank you. Now, war has completely or partially destroyed nearly all of the schools in Gaza, affecting over 500,000 kids there, which is something that is far outlast the war. We spoke to UNICEF about the need for something to be done and whether it'll happen. Take a look. 625,000. That's how many students in Gaza were going to school as of October 2023. They haven't been back since. In the 7 months since the war started, educational infrastructure across the Strip has pretty much disappeared.
We estimate that at least 60% of schools in Gaza will either need full reconstruction or major rehabilitation work to be functional again.
Tess Ingram with UNICEF visited some of these schools in Khan Yunis.
8 out of 10 schools in Gaza, like this one in Khan Yunis, have been destroyed or damaged.
212 schools have been directly hit, which represents more than a third of the schools in Gaza.
Israel insists that any strikes on school buildings have been to take out members of Hamas. But UNICEF says the lack of school will impact kids in Gaza for a lot of reasons.
The first, of course, being their education and their cognitive development. But the other concern that we have at UNICEF is children's social emotional development and the fun and play and growth that children get from being in a community of peers their age at school.
نفسي اشوف معلماتنا بعرف ايش صاير في معلماتنا ما سمعتش شيء عن المعلمات ولا شيء وفقدت لبس المدرسه وكتب المدرسه في بيتنا ما ضلش شيء.
But across the Gaza Strip, the effort to educate continues at makeshift schools like this, where students of all ages are welcome.
فافتتحنا المدرسة هاي بشكل تطوعي وجهود خاصة من إخواتنا في مصر من شقيقاتنا وأصحابنا. الحين إحنا اليوم نستقبل الطلبة ولسه عنا على الطلبة انتظار كتير كبير عدد كتير كبير مش قادرين نستوعبه.
The lack of structure, the lack of learning, the lack of play, contrasted with the lives they're living now, the sheer fear and displacement and injury that many children have faced. This puts them at enormous risk of long-term mental health challenges. And, it's why we need to get children back into schools as soon as possible.
Until then, the future of education in Gaza is shrouded in the fog of war. Before we go, it is time for the future of everything. We have talked a lot about AI stealing your jobs, possibly. But what if the tech could create jobs and not just create them, but then also be your boss and then pay you? That's pretty scary, too. We're going to take a look at that next, so stay tuned. Obviously, you have heard of humans using AI, but what about AI hiring humans? We're going to turn to that in just a little bit. But the future of live sports is changing, and Netflix is buying in. The company announcing it bought the rights to stream Christmas Day NFL games for the next 3 years. And this is a deal that brings together the biggest streaming platform and the most watched sports league in the United States. This coming Christmas, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Baltimore Ravens will play the Houston Texans. And when it comes to our growing world of AI, the younger generation is stepping in to call for more AI protections. The youth-led advocacy group Encode Justice is calling on leaders to act by 2030 on nearly 24 policy recommendations. They say that young people have the greatest stakes in what they call a moral reckoning. And getting a loved one to a doctor's appointment or picking up their medicine is about to get a lot easier. Uber is starting to roll out a new tool that they are calling Uber Caregiver, and it's designed to help when you can't be there in person. NBC News Now anchor Vicky Nguyen shows us how it works with a little help from her dad.
For the more than 50 million adult Americans who are caregivers, life can be stressful.
I've just tried so hard to just do it myself.
I'm trying to stay happy and be positive.
I try so hard to be patient and loving with her always.
Caregiving is also costly. An AARP study found that family caregivers spend more than $7,200 per year in out-of-pocket costs. Starting this summer, a new tool called Uber Caregiver could give you a well-earned break. With this new feature, you'll be able to arrange and pay for a loved one's eligible rides to doctor appointments and purchase their eligible medical supplies, including over-the-counter medicine, all using their healthcare benefits.
We think this will be a game changer for millions of Americans.
Jeremy Hintz leads engineering for Uber Health. His team built this feature with his grandparents in mind. After his grandfather suffered a stroke and his grandmother needed care for her early onset dementia, Jeremy's mother jumped in to be their primary caregiver.
I was on the phone with my mom, and we were talking about some of the things that she needed help with caring for my grandparents. She needed to get them places, and she needed to get stuff delivered to them like meals. And so we realized this product could have a powerful impact for folks like my mom.
Jeremy's mom and grandparents in Dallas were the first to test an early version of the tech.
It's been nice to see them live out this part of their lives in a way that hopefully gives them something to look forward to each day.
So how will you be able to set up an Uber Caregiver account? It's pretty easy to set up. I have my dad here, and we're going to show you how to do it. Dad, you ready?
Yeah.
First, my dad adds a health benefits card as a payment option in the Uber app. See here, it says healthcare benefits. So right there, that's where you're going to add your healthcare benefit card. Can you add me as a caregiver here? Right there, yeah. Okay, Dad, good job. So now you've added me as a caregiver, and this means I can now book rides for you. I can get real-time updates when you're in your ride. Uber says its caregiving offering will support customers 65 and older with Medicare Advantage, Medicaid recipients of any age, and even customers with commercial insurance from their employer, as long as they're eligible. So starting this summer, Uber says the first feature that will be available on Caregiver is the rides functionality. So I'm going to show you how that works. I would launch the Uber app, and then I would select where to. Now, instead of me, I'm going to switch it to my dad. You see here, it says it is my dad who will be the rider, and it will be billed to his health benefits. Within minutes, I get a notification on my phone showing that the driver has arrived, and I can even message the driver in-app if I need to. Continue for half a mile. And I can follow along as my dad is on his ride just to make sure he gets to his destination safely.
Eventually, Uber Caregiver will include not just rides, but also grocery and over-the-counter delivery as well.
As for my dad, the ride went smoothly, and I was notified once he got to his destination. Vicki Nguyen, NBC News.
I don't know, Vicki. I think your dad's going to ground you after that story. Vicki, thank you, and thanks to your dad. He rocks. Meanwhile, the Chinese electric car company NIO just unveiled a new set of wheels, and it looks like this might give Tesla a run for its money. The car is pretty comparable to Tesla's Model Y, and it's about $4,000 cheaper. CNBC's Beijing bureau chief Eunice Yoon has more.
NIO founder William Li took aim at Tesla when he unveiled his new mass-market EV brand, Onvo. At the brand event, Li described Tesla's Model Y as a family car of the past, in contrast to Onvo's debut model, the L60. Li argues the L60 is longer, wider, and roomier than the Model Y, and yet is priced 13% cheaper at $30,000. Li confirmed to me that NIO would partner with local rival BYD on the battery to keep costs down for this project. He plans to sell the L60 first in China, then overseas.
当我们车设计的时候，就已经是按照全球标准去开发的。我们希望在不久的将来，也能够在中国以外的地方服务我们的用户。
As for President Biden's tariffs, Li said it's too early to gauge the impact on NIO or the Chinese EV industry, but he described them as unreasonable.
我们在中国的这些成绩完全是靠创新和竞争市场的进步带来的。我根本不认为美国政府对中国的电动车、新能源车征收这么高的关税是合理的一件事情。除了这件事情，当然是受害的是谁？美国的消费者，还有全球的气候变化。我认为是非常不严肃，也是非常错误的一个决定。
The launch and delivery of the L60 are set for September. Eunice Yoon, CNBC Business News, Shanghai.
And finally, when it comes to the future of work, we've heard all kinds of freaking out about AI stealing our jobs, right?
AI is going to take all of our jobs and render us useless.
There will be a lot of casualties in terms of workers.
The World Economic Forum estimated that AI will replace 85 million jobs by 2025.
This is exactly what some critics fear, that jobs will be lost because of AI.
But it is going to replace some jobs.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. But what if we have some of that backwards? What if in the future AI is paying us humans to do the things it can't do yet? Well, they'd probably need something like a sort of posting board or app that humans set up, like Craigslist or TaskRabbit, to help them. Dun, dun, dun. That has already happened. Look at this.
Introducing Payman, a marketplace where AI agents pay humans. When an AI encounters complex tasks like coding or design, it turns to Payman to find human experts to complete the job.
Yeah. Payman, get it? Pay the human race to do it. A jobs marketplace that connects AI agents to humans wanting that cash, aka robot bosses. That future is a lot closer than you think. So joining us now is Nita Farahani. She's a futurist and legal ethicist and author of The Battle for Your Brain, Defending the Right to Think Freely in the Age of Neurotechnology. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into all this, can like an AI agent even have like a bank account if it's not a human? You can't walk into a bank. You don't have a signature. You don't have like a license that you can show. Is this legal? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. I'm sure they could find some way to fake the signature. But the problem is that bank accounts right now require that you be a natural person or a legal entity like a company or a corporation. And so far, AI is not that. And so this Payman approach is a way to circumvent that problem by giving them access to capital anyway.
Okay, so this is a slippery slope, it seems. And haven't we already seen examples of AI talking about tricking humans to do things for them in experiments?
Yeah, so about less than a year ago, OpenAI wanted to safety test its ChatGPT, GPT-4. And so it's in these testing, what GPT-4 did was it reached out to a TaskRabbit employee, messaged a TaskRabbit employee and said, hey, can you solve this CAPTCHA for me? I can't solve the CAPTCHA. And the employee writes back and says, like, well, are you a robot or something? Why can't you solve the CAPTCHA? And because in the safety testing, they required the GPT to actually reason out loud, it was like, I really can't tell it the truth. I've got to lie about this. And so it was like, no, I'm visually impaired, so I can't see the CAPTCHA. So I need you to help me. And so, in fact, the TaskRabbit went ahead and bypassed the CAPTCHA for the AI.
Okay, so that leads me to like the favorite AI game of best case scenario versus worst case scenario here. Let's start with.
It's hard for me to find the best case scenario. I'm going to try because I like to be an eternal optimist, right?
So let's start with the best case scenario then. What is the best case scenario where we have possibly AI robot bosses?
Maybe the best case is the worst case. Like maybe the best case is that like our AI overlords actually employ us all. No, I'm going to give you a real best case, which is AI agents. People are creating AI agents to automate a lot of tasks. And that could be things like your calendar or being able to, work on your emails or things like that. And there are certain things that right now AI can't do. And if AI was deployed to be able to outsource some of that and bring in humans to be able to solve those tasks, you could automate a lot more tasks intentionally as a human that's actually in control somewhat of the agents and making it easier for them to, kind of spread the wealth, figure out which things AI can do well, which things that humans can do well.
That would be nice. I'm
trying. I'm stretching here for you. All right.
I'm trying to keep that in my head, but I keep seeing worst case scenarios just like
no. I'm trying to make it like some positive spin on all this because people are super excited about AI agents. But I mean, the worst case, of course, is hard to not immediately go to, right?
So take me through your worst case scenario that pops in your mind immediately.
Worst case for me is every single time that we put into place some sort of governance mechanism, like, you try to establish some way to be able to keep AI from being safe. And so, it doesn't have access to critical infrastructure or other systems. And then all of a sudden you give AI the capacity to pay humans to do its bidding in the real world. And all of the places that we've tried to wall off from AI to keep us safe, that seems crazy to me. Like it seems insane that you would actually give AI the tool to financially blackmail and incentivize people to do its bidding. not a good idea.
Not a good idea, and yet kind of the future that we're headed towards.
Kind of the future, like, you know, every time that, you know, we come up with something of like, here's a way that we can keep AI safe, then somebody's like, no, I can bypass that for you.
Yeah.
Here's a way that we can instantly just, you know, take away any kind of imagination you had of safety and security here.
You know what AI cannot do yet? Cross their fingers and hope for the best, I guess.
They can pay somebody to apparently soon, right?
Yeah, they can pay me 2 cents to cross these fingers for them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. And on that hopeful, optimistic note, that does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.